record. So I am going to hand over to Lindsay now, guys. If you have any questions, pop them in, and Lindsay will let us know whether we can disturb her halfway through or we'll catch the questions at the end. But please, while she's here, let's use and abuse her in the nicest way possible, and get to know as much about LinkedIn. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Amazing. Can you just enable screen share for me?
That would be helpful, wouldn't it? I was trying so hard to remember this record. Right, where am I screen? How am I doing this one? Why we should know this. I should know this. Make co-host. Is that what I'm doing?
If you just click on the button at the bottom on screen share, there should be a little option that comes up that's enable screen share.
Oh, that's for me, isn't it, though, to screen share my screen?
No, you should have an option that comes up that says, when you click on screen share, that says enable screen share for other participants.
Ooh. No, I don't. Let's just have a look if it comes up in that one. Has that let it do it? I've just clicked on the multiple participants.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yay. Good evening, everyone. I will introduce myself in a moment, but as Kimmy said, please use the chat function as we go along. There is no such thing as a silly question. I want this to be as interactive as possible. So use the chat, ask as many questions as possible. If it is appropriate to the thing we're talking about, I'll answer it straight away. And if not, I shall answer everything at the end. I've just figured out how to take the Canva glow up off. So hopefully you can see anyone who's taken the Canva glow up. It's not my favorite thing, so I've taken it off. So hopefully you should be able to see my slides properly. But if you can just let me know if you can see my screen in the chat, that would be awesome. Amazing. Thanks, Judith. So good evening again, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I know there's some familiar faces. My name is Lindsay Meredith, and I am a LinkedIn and visibility coach. This evening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something in two parts. The first part, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. We're going to talk about the things that LinkedIn provides business owners with in order to grow your business, a lot of which are quite new. So even if you've been on LinkedIn for a while, there's probably a lot of things that are available to you that you're unaware of. And then we're going to go into a short session on how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile to convert your clients for you. And then I'll take any questions as we go along and any other questions at the end. At the end, any questions about anything we've not talked about that you have burning questions about LinkedIn, feel free to ask as well. So just a quick intro to me. As I said, I'm a LinkedIn and visibility coach. I'm also qualified in positive psychology and subconscious marketing. I'm a big believer that strategy only gets you so far. You need to have the mindset to actually be visible as well, which I know is something that I think Leona was talking about in Infamous as well. So I have personally used LinkedIn as the main lead source for 3 businesses now: a recruitment agency, a business coaching practice, and a social media management agency as well. I've also taught thousands of business owners now in hundreds of different industries how to leverage LinkedIn to generate relationships with their ideal clients. I also run my own LinkedIn management agency, so I use the strategies that I teach on behalf of myself and my clients every single day. I've been recognized by LinkedIn as a top community voice, and I've also appeared on numerous LinkedIn influencer lists as well. So you are in very good hands. I'm mum to Izzy, who is 9 going on 19. That's her there on the left. I've been married to Paul for 14 years. Couple of fun facts about me. I'm an identical twin. So we were talking about grey hair before Kimmy hit record. My identical twin has a full head of grey hair. Clearly I am not going very natural myself. So that's a little bit of a fun fact about me. I'm also the #1 best-selling author of a book called The Rise of the Female Entrepreneur. And I've been self-employed for 14 years and counting, and I've been using LinkedIn as my main lead source for the whole of those 14 years as well, which just shows you how powerful it is. So why is LinkedIn such an amazing platform for your business? Well, one of the things we're going to talk about today is your personal profile page. which if written properly and if you use the tools properly, can act as a mini converting website for your business. So the strategy that I teach is all about building an audience of the right people, magnetizing them through your content, and then sending them to your profile page for your profile page to do the hard work for you. So a lot of people, when they start looking at using a new social media platform, they go straight into content. Now with LinkedIn, that would be a mistake. Number one is your profile page, and that's why I'm going to talk about that today. However, at the end, I'm going to give you a link to access some other free trainings that will look at the other pillars of the strategy that I teach as well. Another amazing thing about LinkedIn, you can track and know who your warm leads are with LinkedIn Premium. So with LinkedIn, you have free LinkedIn, you have something called LinkedIn Premium Business, and you have something called LinkedIn Sales Nav. It should tell you something that LinkedIn is capitalizing on the fact that they know that LinkedIn is amazing for business owners because they now provide specific products only for business owners. Now, you can be very, very successful on LinkedIn with the free LinkedIn. You do not have to buy anything. However, you can fast track your success if you have what they call a LinkedIn Premium product, which do start very, very cheaply. One of the main things that I would recommend buying a LinkedIn Premium product for is the fact that you can see every single person who has viewed your profile page. So if you're building an audience of the right people, if you are sending them to your profile to convert them and they don't convert, they don't drop into your inbox, they don't go and download your lead magnet, they don't go and buy your stuff, you will still know who they are because LinkedIn will tell you every single person who has viewed your page. And that means that you can follow up with them because anyone that views your page is a warm lead. So if you get frustrated on other platforms that you can see what your impressions are, but you can't see who those people are, LinkedIn can be an absolute game changer. LinkedIn also has an extensive free search tool as well that allows you to build a very, very specific audience. Again, the LinkedIn free search tool will allow you to search on things like job title, location, even where people attended school, university, what their interests are. So if you have not used the LinkedIn filters for searching for your ideal clients, I absolutely recommend that you do. I ran a free challenge a couple of weeks ago, and this was the big light bulb moment during that free challenge, was that you can use the LinkedIn search to be very, very specific about the people that you bring into your world. Now, on LinkedIn, you either choose to invite people into your world as a connection, or you choose to accept people into your world. And again, an amazing thing about LinkedIn is that you can really, really control your audience. And when you know exactly who is in your audience and you're only building an audience of very, very specific people, then it becomes really, really easy to write content that resonates with them and to convert them. So if you are using other platforms and you're finding that you're getting lots of random followers, therefore your message is only going out to a small majority of the right people, again, LinkedIn could be a fantastic platform for you. LinkedIn allows you to have 30,000 first connections. So if you are not familiar with LinkedIn, you have first connections, which are like your Facebook friends, essentially. Then you have second connections. Now, your second connections are your first connections. Now, whilst it may seem a little bit complicated, it's quite easy once you know how. And that means that you will always have more chance of building relationships with other people. So just to give you an example, I have 30,000 connections on LinkedIn, and that gives me 1.6 million second connections. Now, that's really significant because if any of my connections like or comment on one of my posts, it gets shown to their own network. So by having 30,000 connections, I can effectively be talking to 1.6 million people. And again, that's really significant because we all tend to have networks of people like us. So when my stuff gets shown to my second connections or my first connections, that means that I am penetrating an audience of more of the right people for the things that I sell. So a lot of the times when I sell through LinkedIn, it's to my first connected audience, but I also make sales through people I'm not even connected to yet through my second connected audience. That is really, really significant difference between LinkedIn and other platforms. Another big difference between LinkedIn and other platforms is that everyone is on LinkedIn to do business. LinkedIn, over the last 10 years, it's now very much a business platform. People go on there to sell. Now, that doesn't mean they don't build relationships. Relationships are absolutely paramount to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will reward you for building them. But there is no pretense as to why you're there. There is no people pretending to make friends with you and then sliding into your DMs and trying to sell you something. Everyone is on there on LinkedIn to do business. So you don't have to pretend that you are on there to sell, which is really, really important, especially if you are someone that lacks confidence in making sales and you don't like those kind of icky tactics that some people teach on platforms like Facebook. Now, LinkedIn also provides you with amazing analytics and data. For every single LinkedIn post, you can see how many impressions that post got. You can see what the job title of the people that saw that post were, what industry they're in, etc. So the level of data that LinkedIn gives you is absolutely phenomenal, and you can be measuring all the time. You can also see how many people have viewed your profile. You can see how many searches you appear in. Searches, again, are really important on LinkedIn. I want you to think of LinkedIn as a ginormous database of anyone that has ever signed up to LinkedIn. When you sign up to LinkedIn, you give LinkedIn a lot of information. LinkedIn plugs all of that information into this system behind LinkedIn, which acts as a huge CRM. And when people search for something, it then takes that data to pull up a search. So if you sign up to LinkedIn, say, for instance, you are a virtual assistant and someone needs a virtual assistant, they search for a virtual assistant on LinkedIn in your area, you will come up in a search. So it's another way that LinkedIn can get you business over and above actually posting content and being active on there as well. So just having up-to-date details on LinkedIn and having a profile page that speaks to your ideal client can gain you business even if you never post any content, because you will come up in LinkedIn searches. One of my favorite things about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn loves simple content. On LinkedIn, less is more. There is no feeding of the algorithm with lots and lots of different content. You can have a really successful strategy on LinkedIn by posting 3 to 5 times a week. In actual fact, if you post more than 5 times a week, you will be marked for spam and your content will not be shown to as many people. So if you are using platforms like Facebook and Instagram and you find it difficult to keep up with the constant feeding of putting out that content and the constant wheel of putting all the content out, again, LinkedIn, I call it the lazy marketers platform. Or as one of my clients said to me the other day, with LinkedIn, I do less and I get more. I think that's an amazing way of putting it. So if any of you are looking to do less and get more, again, LinkedIn is a fantastic platform for you. Daniela wants to know what impressions mean. Impression purely means how many people have been shown your content in the feed, Daniela. So an impression is how many people have actually been shown your content in the feed. It doesn't mean that people have read it. It just means that it has been put in their feed so that they can consume it. So hopefully that answers your question. LinkedIn also has a really, really amazing events function. So if you are a coach or if you hold in-person or online events, the events section on LinkedIn is absolutely phenomenal. I have used the events section in every single one of my businesses and it has made me huge amounts of money. So when you put an event on LinkedIn, you can invite up to 1,000 people per week to your on and offline events. So whether you do free events, whether you do paid events, whether they are in-person local events, or whether they are online international events, LinkedIn will invite people to your events for you. At the click of a button, you can invite 1,000 of the right people to your event and they will get a notification asking them if they want to see the details and attend your event. So that is a huge, huge thing that works brilliantly on LinkedIn. Another thing that is really, really important to mention at this point is that 36% of LinkedIn users are not active on any other social media platform. So 36% of the 950 million people on LinkedIn are not active on Facebook. They're not active on Instagram. They're not active on TikTok, Threads, any other platform. They only spend their time on LinkedIn. So 343 million people on LinkedIn use LinkedIn as their only form of social media, which represents a huge amount of people that you could potentially be missing out on if you're not using the platform. LinkedIn also has what we call creator tools. Two of those creator tools are LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn Audio. They're completely free to use. You only have to have, the only qualification for LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn Audio is that you have a minimum of 150 connections, first connections in your network. LinkedIn Live is absolutely phenomenal. It's a way of going live and video, just like on Facebook. But the difference is that LinkedIn will send a notification to every single one of your connections that you are live. And that brings lots of people to your live stream. When you are finished going live and you have ended your live stream, LinkedIn will automatically change that notification to, for instance, Lindsay Meredith was live. Now that's hugely significant because I can post a native video to LinkedIn and that is an upload and it will get a couple of thousand views. If I go live on LinkedIn, a notification gets sent out to 30,000 people that I am live or that I have been live when I finish being live. So you can imagine how many more people I get to my video. And again, that is completely free. One of my new favorite things about LinkedIn, which is something that was added about 6 months ago, is what I call the magic button. So if you have any type of premium account on LinkedIn, you now have a magic button that gets put on every single piece of content, which is an inbuilt call to action. You can choose what goes on there. So for instance, you can have book a discovery call, you can have go to my website. So even if your piece of content is not sales related in any way, it might be a personal post, there is an inbuilt call to action that can take people where you want to go. They do not have to go anywhere else. So if your content really, really resonates with them, they will go and look at your website. They will go and book a discovery call. And I can tell you how significant this is because in the 6 months since this actually came into play, my website views have absolutely rocketed. And there is no other reason why other than every single piece of content that I put out there now has that inbuilt magic button that asks people to visit my website. Okay, Mandy, I'm sorry I came in late. When setting up, shall I use a personal account or a business account? You have to have a personal profile in order to have a business profile, Mandy. However, LinkedIn is 40 times more likely to show personal content than business content. So I would recommend that everyone who is building their business on LinkedIn uses their personal profile as their primary source. So it's your personal profile we're talking about today. Tracy, do you include a live as one of the 3 to 5 pieces of weekly content? You can, however, you don't get penalized for live video because LinkedIn really likes that type of content. So you might want to maybe do a post telling people you're going to go live and then go live, but it won't affect your impressions going live. Okay, as I mentioned, LinkedIn has business products like Business Premium, like Sales Nav, and they have been built to help you to sell on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an extremely intuitive platform. So even if you use a product like Business Premium or Sales Nav on a free trial, you can get 8 weeks free trial on Business Premium at the moment and 4 weeks free trial on Sales Nav. Even if you only use them on the free trial, you will educate LinkedIn as to who you want to bring into your world and what you want to see. And when you finish your free trial, if you decide not to purchase the platform, then you've already taught LinkedIn what you want to see. So you'll get more of the right people coming up in your recommendations, etc. So if you haven't got a big budget right now, well, you don't need a huge budget, but if you haven't got a budget right now, I would still recommend that you do utilize a free trial on one of LinkedIn's business products because they have literally built them to help you to sell on LinkedIn. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that I'd been recognized by LinkedIn as a top community voice. Now, anyone now has the opportunity to become a LinkedIn top community voice. When the scheme first came out, I was invited to do that because I was a prolific content creator. But even if you are brand new to LinkedIn, you now have the opportunity to become a LinkedIn top community voice in your area of expertise, which builds credibility and sets you apart from your competitors. So for instance, if you were in HR, you can now have a badge that says Human Resources Top Community Voice. If you're in coaching, you can now have a badge that says Coaching Top Community Voice. There is a strategy to it and you do have to do some work to get there. That's not something that we can talk about today because it is a big training in itself. But what I will say is it's an opportunity for you to set yourself apart from your competitors and a big credibility stamp. So for a while, it may be something that you want to investigate. Now, something that really blows people's minds about LinkedIn is that you can download your data on LinkedIn. Now, this is really significant. You can download your data whenever you like on LinkedIn. So you can download the people that you're connected to, you can download content, you can download events, etc. And that's really significant because we do not own LinkedIn. We do not own any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., that we actually spend our time on. And if we put lots of time in, money perhaps, into building a brand on a platform, we are susceptible to getting hacked. We're susceptible to actually being taken off the platform because we don't own it. So what you can do on LinkedIn is you can download your data, which can help you to get started faster should you get thrown off any platform for any reasons. That's something that LinkedIn allows you to do that other platforms don't. The data that you get will depend upon the data protection boxes that people have ticked when they've signed up for LinkedIn, but at the very least, you will have the people's names so that you can go and connect with them again. So downloadable data is a huge reason, again, why I would be on LinkedIn. Now, my absolute favorite new thing that LinkedIn has actually introduced recently are LinkedIn newsletters. Now, you used to have to be in a special mode on LinkedIn called creator mode in order to create newsletters, but newsletters are now available to everyone who has over 150 connections, absolutely free. Now, again, this is really significant because subscribers are more significant than connections. When it comes to our connections, the LinkedIn algorithm will decide who sees our content in the feed. It doesn't show it to everyone. When we have a LinkedIn newsletter, LinkedIn asks people to subscribe to our newsletter. So whenever we publish a newsletter on LinkedIn, LinkedIn delivers it to subscribers in 3 ways. It delivers them a notification, it delivers them a direct message, and it sends it directly to their email, which is phenomenal. So just as an example, I started a brand new LinkedIn newsletter as a working example for a masterclass I was teaching a few weeks ago. I have now published 2 newsletters and I already have 3,300 subscribers. So I have been running that newsletter for less than 6 weeks. I have only published 2 copies and I have 3,300 subscribers now that LinkedIn is delivering that to every single time, not just to their notifications, not just to their DMs, but to their email address. It would have taken me a year or more to get that many subscribers on an email newsletter for a double opt-in. And I can see via LinkedIn who every single one of those subscribers are, and I can message them directly as well. So that is huge, amazing function that LinkedIn allows us to have that you just do not get on other platforms, and you can get a subscribe button on your LinkedIn personal profile as well. Cara, my LinkedIn is asking for verification via persona about ID. However, I don't have any ID bar a driving license. Should let you use a driving license. The only time it asks you for verification, by the way, is if it is worried that you've been hacked. So you will have been doing something on your profile that makes LinkedIn think that you have been hacked. And that's the only time it ever asks you to prove who you are. So just have a think about what perhaps you've been doing as well. Okay, so your personal profile. I'm going to run through a couple of really important things with you, and then I'm going to illustrate this by showing you my profile and all the different sections that we're talking about. So as I said, this evening, we're talking about your personal LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn does allow you to have a business profile, but it's 40 times more likely to show your personal profile content to your network. You very rarely see any business profile content in the feed. So I want you all, when you are building your business on LinkedIn, to focus on your personal profile. It is good to have a business profile, but more as a holding page, more as credibility, but you want to build your personal brand on your personal profile. Because when done properly, your personal profile acts as a mini converting website, and it actually converts your clients for you. So I'm going to go through the key parts of your personal profile for you. So the key parts of your profile are your banner, which is right at the top, very similar to Facebook, your headline, which is the line of text under your name, your About Us section, which makes it really simple for people to buy from you. I want you to think of that as your homepage of your website. Your featured section, which allows you to take your potential clients from absolutely cold to hot and wanting to buy from you. your work history, and your recommendation section. So we're going to go through all of those in the next few minutes. And the rest of your LinkedIn strategy will then be to build an audience of the right people and to send them to your profile to convert them for you. So if done properly, and this is why I do it as the first point in the strategy that I teach, your LinkedIn profile will do the hard work for you whilst you are busy doing the other stuff, while you are busy delivering your service, while you are busy being a mum, etc. Okay, so I want you to think of your LinkedIn personal profile as your own personal website. You want to drive as many of your ideal clients and prospects, customers there as possible, and then you let your profile do the rest. So I'm going to give you some tips for turning your profile into a lead generating sales page, and then I'm going to illustrate that on my own profile for you. So I mentioned your LinkedIn headline. Now, your LinkedIn headline is the line of text that comes underneath your name. LinkedIn will automatically populate that as your job title, but you can edit it. And I would absolutely recommend that you edit it, because when you send a connection request to an ideal prospect, an ideal client, an ideal customer, what LinkedIn sends them is your picture, your name, and the first 5, 6, 7 words of your headline, depending upon the length of the words that you have used. So people will decide whether to accept your connection request purely based upon your picture, your name, and those first 5 to 7 words. So those first 5 to 7 words really need to pack a punch. And usually I would recommend that they either speak to the person that you work with, so they can see that you're working with people like them, or alternatively, they speak to the transformation that you can provide, so that they can see that you're providing the type of transformation that they need, and then you're more likely to get your connection request accepted. But I'll illustrate that for you on my own profile in a moment. Your About Us section is a free text part of your LinkedIn profile. If you do not have one at the moment, you can click a button to add an About Us section. And you want to use that section to give your prospects as much information as possible. And it's really, really important that you make it easy for them to see who you are, what you do, but more importantly, that you are working with people like them, getting them the types of transformations that they need. And it shouldn't be all about you, because you are just the vehicle for getting them from where they are now to where they need to be. But again, I'll illustrate that on my own profile in a moment. So the suggested format would be to start with some questions that qualify your ideal audience, then speak to their problems and the transformation that they're looking for. So you are the person that you can uniquely solve them, and we want to have a call to action as well. You always want to make sure that you're making it really, really easy for your customers to buy from you. I'll also show you a featured section at the moment. Your featured section is really, really important. And the majority of people that I tend to speak to do not have a featured section on their profile. Your featured section on your LinkedIn profile is your opportunity to take someone from absolutely cold and not knowing anything about you to knowing everything about you, your business, who you help, how you help them, how good you are at what you do, and have them taking action. I want you to think of it as your shop window, and it really is that important. You also have a recommendation section at the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn recommendations are massive in terms of building your credibility. So you can actually ask people to recommend you via your profile. You can click on a button, which I'll show you at them in a minute, and you can actually send a recommendation request to your clients. When you have a recommendation request filled in from your clients, it will appear on your LinkedIn profile. And that means that the more people you send to your profile, the more it speaks to them. They will then see that you are working with people like them, getting people like them results. So your recommendations are really, really important. And when it comes to recommendations and testimonials, I always like to give the TripAdvisor example. And the TripAdvisor example would be if you were going to book a holiday and you couldn't choose between 2 hotels. Majority of us these days will go to TripAdvisor. Now, both hotels may look amazing, but from a sales psychology point of view, we are more likely to choose the hotel that has the most good reviews. So if one hotel looks amazing but has very few or no reviews, The other hotel looks amazing. It still may not be the best one, but it has lots and lots of reviews of people saying it's amazing. We are more likely to book the hotel with the most reviews because it's less of a risk. And when it comes to sales psychology, the less of a risk you can make it for your people to buy from you, the more likely they're going to buy from you. And that's why that recommendation section is so, so important. Okay, I'm going to share my LinkedIn profile with you now and really just illustrate the example of a profile and how it should be written. And then I will answer any questions. So I just want to really reiterate that we're only giving you a very, very small sample of LinkedIn training tonight, but I am going to give you something in a moment that will allow you to access some in-depth training for free as well. So if you were thinking, okay, this is a lot of information in half an hour, that is absolutely fine. I'm going to give you something else where you can dig into this deeper and you can make it personal to you. So as I said, you have your banner at the top here. That's very, very similar to a banner that you have on Facebook. It is a different size. You can make a LinkedIn personal profile banner in Canva, and there are templates in Canva, so you can do that for free as well. And really what you want to do is you want to make it obvious what you do and how you do it and what your actual role is. You want to have a picture that is smiley, personable, friendly, where you're looking straight at the camera, because that will make the person who is viewing it feel as if you were looking directly at them. Now, for those of you who didn't know what I meant by headline, this is your headline. So it goes under your name. So I work with business owners to grow their business. And one of the things that I do is help people be really, really authentic in building their personal brand on LinkedIn so that they attract the clients they love to work with. And that is the transformation that my clients are looking for. So you can see that in my first 5 to 7 words, I have attract the clients you love to work with. So when I actually send out a connection request, they see my picture, my name, and attract the clients you love to work with. So as you can imagine, most of the people that I send this to want to attract more of the clients they love to work with. Therefore, my connections to acceptance rate is really, really high. I then follow with how I do it, the vehicle for it. So I've got my LinkedIn and marketing coach. I then talk about my main program, LinkedIn Launchpad, your blueprint for LinkedIn success. And again, embrace your uniqueness and build a lead generating personal brand on LinkedIn. So it's really, really obvious what transformation I provide and how I actually provide that transformation as well. Now, I want you to look at the top of your profile here. For those of us that are a little bit older, you will remember when websites were invented and they used to talk about above the fold. So this is the above the fold section. And all that means is that it's what people can see before they scroll down. And we need to make it interesting enough that people are interested enough in us to actually scroll down and look at everything else. So that is why your banner is really important. That is why your headline is really important. It needs to speak to your ideal prospect in order for them to scroll down and look at the rest of your profile. And for those of you who didn't know what I meant by your top community voice badge, this is mine here. So that's just an example. Okay, this is just the admin panel, so ignore that. This is the About Us section. As I said, if you don't have an About Us section at the moment, you should be able to click a button to add an About Us section in your admin view. So when you look at my profile, you won't see any of these little pencils because it automatically puts the person whose profile is logged in as an admin view. So this is your About Us section. I'll click on this in a moment, but your About Us section, I want you to think of as your profile's homepage. You want to really speak to your ideal prospects, speak to what they're looking for, and speak to how you can help them get there in your About Us section. And you also want to really set yourself apart from your competitors in terms of you being unique as well. So you can see that you get 2 lines of text here before you click on the See More button. And again, you want to make these 2 lines of text really, really interesting and compelling enough that people want to click on this See More button, just like with any piece of content. So mine is, are you the obvious choice for your prospects? Are you making it easy for your ideal customers to find and choose you? And you can see how if you're trying to grow your business, that's compelling enough to click on this See More button. I then talk about what I do and how it positively affects my clients. And then I have my calls to action here. And these are all the ways that my clients can currently work with me and my call to action. Now, my call to action is to DM me. You have a big button on your profile that says message, and I really, really want you to use it. I want you to make it as simple as possible for people who land on your profile to go into your DMs and want to work with you. And I would always recommend, for most of you, it will be to DM you for more information and to arrange a chat. Because what you don't want to do is have people go through a complicated process to actually do something with you. Now, if you put your website there, then people might go to your website, but then decide not to buy from you. And the problem there is you don't know who they are. If they go into your DMs, you can still send them your website, but if they don't buy from you or they don't sign up for the thing that they've been interested in, then you can follow up with them because you know who they are. So make it really, really simple for them to buy from you, but also make it really, really simple for you to track those leads as well. And LinkedIn has that massive message button on your profile, so I want you to use it. You can still put your website in your contact info section, but I really want you to, as much as possible, for most of you, it will be to DM you as your call to action. You also can add the services that you provide as well. And for those of you who didn't know what I was talking about when I mentioned my featured section, this is my featured section. So when you have a LinkedIn newsletter, you automatically get a button here, and that is so that people can subscribe. So it makes it easy for people to subscribe to your newsletter. So if you were to go and look at my profile now, then you can see that I have a subscribe button, and you can click on that, and then you'll automatically get delivered my newsletter. You would then want to use the rest of your feature section to really, really educate people as to who you are and how good you are at things. So I would recommend that you have an introduction post like this one, or an introduction video. And that is very much welcoming people into your world, sharing your story, letting people know who you help, how you help them, and what transformation you can provide. And that's really important because a lot of the people that come to your profile won't know you yet. And just from this one post or this one video, they will feel as if they have met you in real life, especially if it's a video, and that is really, really significant. You want to use the rest of your feature section to allow them to get to know you and also to build your credibility. So as you can see, I have a video here, but that's a sneak peek behind my program, which is my signature program, which is the LinkedIn Launchpad. I also have a free masterclass on here, which gets a lot of signups just via my profile. And again, that gets people on my mailing list, but also gets people into my world as well. The other types of content I have in the features section, and again, you'll notice I clicked on see more there. If people are interested enough in you, they're going to click on see more. I have a post about my 14th business birthday. Again, that's for credibility. If I've been in business for 14 years, there's got to be a reason why. So that's a credibility. I also have the post about when I first got my Top Community Voice badge, and you do have to requalify for that badge every 60 days. So again, that's a strategy in itself that I teach, but I can't talk about that today, but that's definitely something that I want you to all to be aiming for. And then I have LinkedIn lists that I've appeared on, recommendations, another influencer list there, and recommendations from people that have actually experienced my services and said nice things about me. So your featured section, first of all, it should allow people to get to know you better, and then it should build credibility. So for most of us, that will be sharing your story and who you work with, how you work with them, what transformation you can provide, sharing testimonials, any sorts of, if you are a coach or you have any sort of recorded material that they can download, or a lead magnet, anything like that wants to go in your About Us section as well. If you tend to book discovery calls and that's your call to action, you might want to have your Calendly link in there as well. So it's really easy for people to book calls with you. So that is just a little bit of a potted tour of my profile, but hopefully that makes a little bit more sense of what we talked about earlier on. I'm just going to share a link with you. So I promised you that I would give you more information that you can actually take action on in your business. So obviously this was only a short session. And what I really wanted to do with this session was open your eyes to what's available for you on LinkedIn and give you a few tips. However, I have a 5-unit mini course that that's absolutely free, that you can actually go and download, that will allow you to put all the main elements of the strategy that I teach into your business. So it was my Fall in Love with LinkedIn free challenge a couple of weeks ago. and I have repurposed all the trainings into a 5-part mini course. So we cover the tools that LinkedIn provides you with to grow your business, but in a lot more detail. We cover how to turn your profile into a mini converting website in a lot more detail. We talk about how to build your audience of perfect people. And it also share a simple content strategy that converts as well. So all of you are very welcome to go and download that. I've put the link here and I'll put the link in comments as well, but it is tinyurl.com/fallinlovemib, and that is absolutely free. So anyone who has watched this evening and thinks that they want to give LinkedIn a go, or alternatively have been on LinkedIn for a while but it's not working for you, I guarantee, and I can guarantee it because I did this with 183 people a couple of weeks ago, every single one of them fell in love with LinkedIn during the course of these 5 trainings. So please do go and download that, and it will absolutely help you to get started with your successful LinkedIn strategy as well. I'll pop that in the chat and then I will take your questions.
That was amazing. I have popped it in the chat for you already.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
I was like trying to type it away.
On the ball. You're on the ball.
Right, guys, has anyone got any questions for Lindsay?
Hi, Lindsay. Can I ask a question? That was fantastic, by the way.
Ahead, Lucy.
I'm new to LinkedIn, so I'm really excited to get my profile set up. How would you, I'm a professional network marketer. I've been in the network marketing industry for 17 years. So how would you position yourself if you have, obviously I have products that I sell, but I'm also really passionate about helping people to earn an additional income through network marketing. How would you position that so that you are attracting all of those people, or is it a case of choosing one over the other?
I would choose one first. So I actually have worked with loads of network marketers. And I did, which company are you with?
With Oriflame, so skincare, beauty, wellness products.
Yeah, so what I would usually do for network marketers on LinkedIn is I would start by speaking to the people that you want to recruit into your business as team members. But as we know, sometimes the business isn't right, but people fall in love with the product. So they actually become customers, or they'll join the business and order their own stuff, etc. So if you go just the customer route, you will gain business and you will gain customers, but they're not necessarily going to be the right person as a team member. Whereas if you focus your strategy on recruiting team members, even people you don't recruit may well become customers. So for instance, one of my clients in my LinkedIn Launchpad, she works for Tropic. And we are looking at people like her. She's in sales. We're looking for people like her in sales because she knows it's a great background for doing really, really well in the company. And so we are building a network of salespeople who want an additional income, who already have the skills to run a successful business. Now, they might want a side income, or they may want to eventually make it their full-time business. But those who decide not to go ahead with the business opportunity are still people. So they may well be interested in the product. So what I would always say with LinkedIn is it's not B2B, it's not B2C, it is people to people. It is a people to people platform. It does not matter whether people are in a corporate job. It doesn't matter whether people work for the NHS. It really doesn't matter what it is. They are still a person who can buy from us. So it's B2B, it's B2C, it's people to people. So yeah, absolutely, and LinkedIn can absolutely work for network marketers. I think I probably had 50 plus network marketers on my courses now, from so many different companies. But in general, unless you are not looking to grow a team, in general, I would go with team members first, because you really want to speak to a very specific type of person, and you really want to think about what types of people you want to bring in and what types of skills you want them to have, and then those people who decide not to go ahead with the opportunity may well still fall in love with the products. Yeah,
that makes really good sense. Thank you.
Amazing. Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, Mandy's got her hand up at the top. Oh, there's a few of you.
Amazing.
Mandy, do you want to come off?
Mandy?
Hi. I'm a hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner. Would that work well with LinkedIn?
Absolutely. One of my managed clients is a hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist, and we do very, very well for her. So again, LinkedIn works for everyone as long as your ideal person is on there and spends time on there. So who would your ideal client be?
Anyone really that wants to transform their life. My logo is like changing lives by changing minds.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. So yeah, absolutely. If you work with people, yeah, LinkedIn will absolutely work for you. What I would do is I would look to narrow that down so that you can make sure when you are too wide with who you work with, you can actually, by trying to speak to everyone, it doesn't resonate with anyone. So you want to narrow it down a little bit, but yeah, absolutely can work for hypnotherapists, NLP practitioners, etc.
So phobias is my main thing, and I'm trying to get into the oil industry, because survival courses is a big thing, and I've done them myself, so I know that people don't pass them because they have phobias. So that's the market that I'm trying to get into just now.
Well, you can actually search on the oil and gas industry
Yeah.
in as an industry type, so you can really narrow it down via that as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. Any more?
Cara's got her hand up.
Cara, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, hi, good evening. Hello. Thank you so much for your time. Honestly, of all the trainings I've ever done, which has been quite a lot, I've never done LinkedIn. I'm quite new to it. I have got a profile. I have done only what my friend who uses LinkedIn has told me to start doing. However, just having a play whilst you're talking, it says to add my services because I see that you've got that on yours, but I didn't know where to find that. I didn't have that on mine already. And I'm not too sure which type of services to add under myself. I'm a hypnobirthing teacher, a breastfeeding supporter, and a postnatal doula. So what type of things? Because when I typed on healthcare, it was all very much NHS. So I didn't want to put something that I'm not.
It may very well be that because you are so niche, you won't be able to find exactly what you're looking for in terms of your services. You don't
Okay.
have to have a section on though, and to be perfectly honest, it doesn't make that much difference.
Okay.
Instead, it's speaking to the women that you help in your headline and really using your about us section as much as possible. You will probably, if you have a play, you will probably find something similar, but you may very well not find the exact thing. Now, obviously, I haven't personally had clients that are working in what you are as a one-to-one client. So if you are a one-to-one client or a managed client, I will do all those things for you, and I'll do the searches and I'll do the research. But because I haven't had anyone that does what you do as a one-to-one client or as a management client, I've never done those searches. So I can't tell you 100% whether your services will be in the drop-down menus and what to exactly look for. So what I would say is have a play. If you can't find them, there might be something similar. It might be that you have a maternity, for instance, that you can put in there. By the way, you can do a free search for maternity and things like that. In the LinkedIn search. However, I wouldn't know those particular search terms, unfortunately. It would be when you come to your services, it is whatever is in the drop-down menu. So it may very well be that yours are too niche to be in that drop-down menu at the moment.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Lindsay.
But